My name is Bob McCandless. I'm an expert in cybersecurity. Our company, Blue Iron Network, is here to try to help you guys comply with the NIST 800-171 guidelines. Just by a show of hands, anybody familiar with the NIST 800-171 guidelines? A few of you? Okay, because you're required to meet these in order to do business with the federal government. And if you're not aware of them, it's something you need to check out pretty tightly. If you come over to the knowledge bar, we can go over the requirements. There's over 140 controls you're supposed to have in place. The government did start enforcing that in January this year. So it's really important that you come by and learn that stuff, so you've got it. In the meantime, I'm going to run through some interesting 2019 cybersecurity facts. So a couple of things that are interesting. One of the most expensive data breaches that happened this year was Epsilon, $4 billion hack. And you just keep scrolling through these as you guys read them as they go by. These are all different reasons. Some are malware, some are credit card readers, some are hacking, some are cyber attacks, some are all different kinds. Some of the biggest user data breaches in history that have gone on. Of course, Yahoo, Adult Friend Finder, some of these ones you guys have heard of. Of course, Experian, eBay. These compromise your accounts and get your information into the hands of cybercriminals. These are a couple of the most known cybercriminals and then the most wanted cybercriminal out there. Just some interesting facts for you guys to look at. So a fun fact, by 2020, organizations are going to spend over $100 billion on cybersecurity software and other products. The reason that's important is that the industry is realizing that this is a very serious threat to the industry in general, and that we need to make sure that we have the right controls in place. That's why the government has now adopted the NIST controls to make sure that you guys are out there and making sure that you're able to do it. A lot of people think that cybersecurity is only about large enterprise, really big companies. That's not the truth. The truth is that most hacks are attacking at smaller business. Smaller business might only be spending 5% of its overall budget on cybercrime, on cybersecurity. But when you look at the number of businesses that are attacked by ransomware, typically 60% of them after the attack are no longer in business within 6 months. They do not recover from it. 48% of all breaches are caused by malicious intent. And then the business impacts of some of those crimes are pretty hefty. One of the most important ones is loss of reputation. If you are hacked, take for example, you get a ransomware attack and you're locked out of your servers, locked out of your data, the odds of your customers accepting you back after they realize that you've been a victim of that are very low indeed. And then of course there's theft of data, and then there's also financial losses and fines. If you certify that you're compliant with the NIST requirements in order to get a government contract and later are audited and found that you're not in compliance, you can be fined or you can be blocked from receiving future contracts. There's also some below the surface costs. The average cost of most cyber crimes is about $1 million right off the bat. So even for a small business, this can be very troublesome. Some tips for the smaller industries: increase your awareness to your employees. Know what you can click on, what you're not supposed to click on. Keep your operating systems and computers up to date. Keep them patched. Most importantly, make backups. I cannot tell you how many companies we deal with where they've been a victim of a ransomware attack, they've been locked out, we ask them, do you have backups? And the answer is either no, or when we go back and look at the backups were compromised, and the attack had actually already compromised their backups. Most attacks last more than 30 days, before they spring. The reason they do that is that's your typical rotation for data backups for most companies. So they wait until they've destroyed your backup data, which you don't know because you're not testing your backup data, before they spring the trap on you. Limit access to your information. There's also cyber insurance that you can get. There's a couple of companies here that offer that. And then also for individuals, most of this stuff. People use weak passwords. 55% use the same password. A lot of people don't lock their screens. Many of us use our PIN codes that we use for our bank accounts as our passwords. On mobile devices, we're using our fingerprint scanner. Obviously in social media, a lot of those accounts have been hacked. When those accounts get hacked, that means they have your common password, which you're reusing over and over and over and over. So keep going. One of the most interesting things, we just keep going here, is that, you'd think Mark Zuckerberg would have this down. He got hacked. That was actually his password. ... So don't feel like you're in bad company here. Mark Zuckerberg also is just as guilty. Some popular cybersecurity myths. Busted, I have a firewall, so I'm okay. That is absolutely not true. A firewall is not something you deploy and then forget about. A firewall is something that has to be constantly watched, managed, monitored, make sure that you're actually getting the data of what's coming across, who's attacking you, and taking steps to prevent that. I use HTTPS, so my site is secure. That's absolutely not true. When you connect from the computer that you're using to manage that website over a VPN or any type of network connection, you can transport malware from your computer directly into your website. Another one is, I host my site on Amazon or Microsoft or something like that. So no, I'm good, right? Of course not. When you connect to that through any kind of network, you're transferring that malware into that site, which then can affect it. My computer is not connected to the internet or any network, so I'm totally good, right? Absolutely not. I used to do a thing at trade shows where I'd take a bunch of 1 terabyte thumb drives and toss them around the trade show floor like somebody dropped them. And then by the time I get up on stage, I can put up a screen of all the computers inside the trade show that I'd hacked. Because what do you guys do? You pick up a 1 terabyte thumb drive and you plug it into your computer. And immediately you've transported viruses into your computer. Another one is that small or medium-sized businesses are not a worthwhile target. Nothing could be further from the truth. Most businesses that are hacked are small businesses. There's a bunch of reasons, especially small manufacturers. One is that they're the most vulnerable. They don't have those controls in place. You can go ahead and keep scrolling up there. So what that's causing is the government to take action. Governments are responding. Obviously, GDPR is now happening in the European Union. In the United States, we have NIST 800-171 requirements that you're now under if you're doing business in the aerospace industry. European regulators are now doing very large fines. This number is out of date. The largest penalty up to a week ago was $23 million. Anybody know what the newest fine that was just levied against a company for invasion of privacy? $3 to $5 billion for Facebook. We went from a $23 million fine from Google to a $3 to $5 billion fine for Facebook in 1 year. You're going to see more and more fines, more and more government regulations trying to put a cap on this. So that's pretty much it for that one. If we just flip to the other one, I just wanted to give you guys some ideas of trends of what's coming up. So in 2019, these are some things we anticipate. If you swing by the knowledge bar, we'll give you a copy of this so you can read the whole thing. One of the things that's hitting us like a freight train right now is artificial intelligence. These are AI bots that go out and scope out and check out your network and then use that data, run it through big data, artificial intelligence in order to look for vulnerabilities in order to exploit them. We're seeing AI to AI attacks going on. About 3 to 5 years ago, our typical attack was a guy in a t-shirt sitting in a cafe at Starbucks or something, right? Trying to get your credit card data. Now we're facing entire divisions of the Chinese army that are specifically trained in cybercrime and are infiltrating the people in this room. These are their targets that they want to get into. Let me scroll up a little. The next big trend we see is that defenders will depend increasingly on AI to counterattacks. So if you don't have a counterattack solution, if you're not using the type of tools that we can describe at the knowledge bar, you don't have the right defense. A lot of people, again, think, I bought a firewall, I bought these solutions, I'm good. They're either out of date or you're not managing them correctly. It's very simple. Another one is that with 5G deployment in wider area networks, the surface area of attacks is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I can connect from farther and farther away through more and more and more networks. I can get from a Starbucks now through 5G directly into most corporate networks globally, whereas a couple of years ago you couldn't do that. Keep scrolling up there. As we move to IoT devices, right? Cell phones, somebody came up to my booth just about 20 minutes ago and said, is my cell phone dangerous? Think about what your cell phone is. It's a network attached device that's moving from network to network to network to network. How many networks has your phone been on today? Think about that. It's a lot. So in each one you connect to, you can receive and transmit malware. So mobile devices are a huge target for hackers. Hackers are increasingly attacking data in transit. You should be encrypting all data in transit and all data at rest. Those are actually both NIST requirements for you to do business with the government, and we're going to see that more and more. And we can actually stop here. This is probably the most important one. This is what we're seeing. It's attacks on supply chain. Small manufacturers, supply chain attacks are where the real gold is for hackers. It's small business, because that's where they can get that data. Okay, see you guys over at the booth. Thanks very much.